Hello everybody, and thank you for coming back to this series, to this second video of building the Supermarine Spitfire Mark 1 Guillows scale model for rubber powered. Here I have the model that I built using the pieces, and I did the RC conversion, but some of the pieces that I used, specifically the engine cowling and the canopy, I can't use them again because this is a nice flying model and I don't want to break it apart for this. So the several challenges that I'm going to try to tackle in this chapter. First of all will be the cowling. The engine cowling is designed, actually, if I have the fuselage, to sit in here, I don't know if you can see it, and to be glued in there, and it also is the, let's say, the nose block to hold the propeller. Now I won't be using this, I have to recreate something like this out of wood. I have to see how I do it, so that's not going to be easy at all, but that's one of the challenges. But the shape is nice, the shape does fit in there. The next challenge that I have is to build a canopy. As I showed here, the canopy, I've used it already. It looks nice on the RC model I did, and I don't want to rip it off, so I'm going to see how I can create a new one. I'll be using probably my toaster method for that. If you don't know about the toaster method, then follow along on this one. And let's see if I can recreate a canopy. That's a good thing of these kits, that they really have very nice plastic molded bits that are not so easy to reproduce then at home. And what else? Yes, also then the landing gear. I want to put in a landing gear just for show, so it wouldn't be for the flying, but just to plug it in and plug it out. So I think it goes in, it's in the instructions somewhere to put it in, and basically to have it in there that I can have the landing gear on when it's at home, standing, let's say, in its dispersal or in the hangar, where we can call it, and then take it off for when it goes flying. So those are going to be then the challenges now. Complicated, especially the nose block, because that's also connected to the rubber motor, which is a difficult part, but I'll be practicing on that one and trying to learn from that. So follow me along on this other part, and hopefully this one will fly at some point, rubber powered, but hopefully it will fly. So here I am with a bit of an update on the three challenges that I have for this particular video. I started with the landing gear. It's in theory the easiest one, and I'm using the wheels that came with the kit. The plastic wheels, I think maybe not too good, they're kind of the cheapest thing also that you can get. And typically on the drawings, the approach is to put the wire through the wheel and then bend it upwards, which I think is quite ugly. There are other ways of doing it, I think, but I've tried to develop a new way, which I don't know if you can see it here, in which I've made a bit of a bend inside, so that hopefully when I can close the wheel, it somehow stays in place and there is no visible wire sticking out. I did try it before, so it should work. There it is, and in theory it would roll. Like, I don't need it to roll because it won't be flying, but in this way I have the wheel, it'll be fixed in there, it can roll, and I don't have a wire sticking out on the other side that makes it ugly. So that's, I think this is the left landing gear. For it I've also built up a little box. I hope you can see this because it's really very small. I've built up a little box here where I'll eventually stick in the, let's see if I can try it. I stick in here the landing gear. It's a bit looser than I wanted, but I might be able to fill it in with some wood, and then it'll stand on this. So I've got the other one also, it's drying at the moment, so I still have to build the other box, so there's still a bit of work there to do. So that's about the wing and the landing gear for the wing, so I'll put this aside. The other two parts that I had was the canopy. I still haven't done that one, so I haven't started on that, but I have started on the nose block, the mounting of the nose block. Now I have to say that I'm using the videos that are posted by Max Fly Art, I believe is the name, of Free Flight Basics. I mean, if you're watching this video, I'm sure you know those videos also. They're fantastic flying videos, and he's done a fantastic series. I think it's 4 videos so far about how to braid the rubber motors, how to bend the hooks, how to build the nose blocks, and things like that. So, and also tissue covering, I think he's got one. Let's see if more are coming. He's really, I would say, the master of all this that we're probably all learning from. So I don't think he'll see this, but if he does it, then thank you, because it's really good. What I've put in here, I've put it on the plan, and I've built in a little bit of a separator. I hope you can see this. And I've built also the nose block. I'm going to be using the kind of the bearing. I don't think it's a ball bearing. It's a bearing for the propeller, because it came with the kit, so why not use it? And I've built the block, and this will go in here, squeaky tight. I think that's how Max Triart says it, and that will go there. So the next challenge is going to be to somehow build the engine cowling around here, and that I've literally no idea how I'm going to do that. So that's what I have to figure out somehow. What I do notice, let's see if I pull this out and I don't break anything. Well, I'll do it later. It is inside the Spitfire, it is really very narrow. Like even this little space for the rubber motor is really very, very narrow. So I'm not sure if actually the original rubber would actually make it well through it. I might use then some of the thinner rubbers that I have, but it's a small Spitfire from the Guillows collection, so it's really very narrow. So I'm a little bit worried about that, but I'll see. I'll worry about that a bit more when I get to it. Okay, so next step is going to be to build the cowling around, sand down the nose block, and then also the canopy with the toaster tactic. So that's going to take me some time anyhow. So here's a bit of an update on the challenges I have at the moment, and I hope this new camera angle helps. Now, I don't have big blocks of balsa, so what I do, I take, I think I have a 9mm thick board. Yeah, it's 9mm that I'm using, and then I basically cut out sizes and then stack it together. In this one it was 2 9mm, that's 18. I think I put in a 2mm, 2.5mm on top for the cockpit. One thing that I do miss from the plan, and I don't want to criticize anything at all, but it's missing the top view or the underside view. That's why I was missing one of the big spars, and also the shape of the canopy in this case. Now with the fuselage built, then I can kind of guess it, and I also have then the old airplane, the old canopy that I can also use as a reference. But basically what I've done on this, I've built up the block, let it dry for a while, and then I draw basically the profile that it has. I don't know if you can see it if I put it like this. So this is the canopy now. This would be forward, and then I'm going to start to cut it off to shape, and then gradually, and that's then from the underside. I probably have to do it on the top also, to cut it off, also start to get it to shape, and then sand it down. And then I'll have basically the mold to do the toaster tactic that I used to build the canopy. So that's building the blocks and the molds. I'm a bit challenged at the moment with the nose block. Well, the nose block itself, it's there, but I'm trying to build all around it, and I don't want it to be completely solid, so I'm trying to engineer things, and it's not really working very well. So what I'm going to do then for this part that is kind of on the plan is this. I hope you can see it, which is very difficult to do. I'm building up another block. I have it here. I just built it, so I have it here pressed, and I've got to wait for it to settle, probably overnight at least. And then I'm going to try to build that block in. Now after that, the intention will of course be to try to hollow it out, to get it empty, to save some weight. I don't know if it's going to work or not, but I'll see how I can do it. With manual tools it is difficult, it is a bit of a challenge, but let's see how it comes out. So working with, let's say, massive bits of balsa, massive for my size. I know some of you make a lot of bigger pieces, and I start to carve out while I'll watch some of the videos from Cliff building his models, which are always very inspiring. So follow me as I try to carve this out without destroying anything. So here it is. It's a little bit bigger than it has to be, and I do it on purpose because I want the plastic, when the canopy sits, that it a bit overlaps onto the frame so that I can stick it actually. So, and anyhow, that will be then the process of trimming, which will have its own complication. I hope it's kind of okay. Let's see if it'll fit. I'm going to go with it, then if needed then I'll do it again. So it's always better, at least how I see it, always better to be a bit conservative, and if needed then sand it down a little bit more and create another one, another canopy. So that's it for the canopy mold that I'm going to be creating with my toaster method. So it's not mine, I just use the toaster for that, but the method is I think from everybody else. So let's see how that one goes. So now to the canopy, which is a challenging part, at least because I don't have experience in it. I think with a bit more practice it'll get better and better. I'll show you first the components. So first of all, as you know, I carved out the shape of the canopy as best I could. It's not quite straight, but I think it'll do. And then I glued it on to a little block of wood and then to a film canister, just so that I have some space so that it wraps around when I put the plastic over. What I'm also preparing now, I have a little bit of the plastiline I stole from my daughter, and I use this to try to fix the canister to the table so that it doesn't slide away, because that's maybe, I'm going to take it maybe somehow that it's a bit stable and that it doesn't slide away. So let's see how that goes. And then of course then there's a toaster, and then there's the plastic film. I think you could use probably any kind of plastic, but we'll see. So the elements here are clear now. So I'm going to start to warm up the plastic, and I have to get it to the sweet spot where it's soft enough that it will wrap around the mold without breaking. So it could take, I think for the last one it took me like 2 attempts, and then I was happy with it. So let's see how long it will take me with this one, or how many attempts it will take me. So let's see how it goes. I hope you can see this. It's important also when using the toaster that you don't do this at breakfast time, because somebody else might be needing the toaster at that time. So, and of course I suppose it's important not to drop any plastic inside, because then your toast might taste strange. So let's see. So if you can see, I don't know if you can see it, I move it a little bit to try to get the feel for it, if it's already soft enough or not. Maybe using some gloves might be good, because my fingers are getting a little bit roasted. So I'm not sure, I think it's soft. Give it a bit more time, just a few more seconds. Let's see how much my fingers hold out. Okay, so I'm going to go for it. Ready, steady, go! And it did not go too well. Don't know if you could see that. It got unstuck from the canister, so I'm probably going to have to stick it on again. Thinking maybe even to put a screw or something through, and to try it again. Let's see. So I'm back. I'm putting a screw through the top of the film canister, and let's see if this holds out a bit better now. It was a bit clumsy before, right? So I put also the plasticine, or the Play-Doh this is called. When I was small I called it plasticine or plastiline, and now it's called Play-Doh. I don't know if it's the same thing. But wait, before I squeeze it on, maybe I'll take it off and try to squeeze it like this. There. It's just to keep it from sliding away, but it didn't keep it from breaking off. So again, I'm going to try to recycle the same plastic. I want to be ecological and all that. And let's see how it goes this time. I'm not sure if it can be done, how good this is if it's like melted a couple of times, or if it'll just look awkward. We'll see. Also, the piece of plastic is not very big in itself, doesn't need to be very big, but it needs to be big so that there's some grip on it, so that I can hold on to it, right? So That's maybe the biggest waste, because I do try to save as much as I can in material, as you know, but this does seem to be one of the wasteful parts. Again, roasting my fingers nicely, hoping to get this. And as it's a small piece also, then not so easy to wrap it around completely. Maybe a bigger piece would be easy, I'm not sure actually. If you have other tips and tricks how to do this, other than using expensive and complicated systems, would be very welcome. So there I'm squeezing it on, and squeeze also the front. What I'm thinking of doing now. Doesn't look perfect, but I'm going to see if I put it over the heat and try also to wrap it around. Feels clumsy, doesn't it? There are these folds here that you can see that I can't seem to get rid of, so I'm not sure. I'll try maybe to cut around. Not convinced. Maybe it's going to be yet another attempt. Anyhow, I might not be recording it, but this is how I'm going to try to do it again. Maybe a bigger piece of plastic, maybe trying to push it in another direction. I'll see, but I'll try it again, I think. As I wrap up this video, I'll show you my failures with the canopies. I tried 2 pieces of plastic, as you could see, and actually none of them it got to the shape I needed. Maybe it's too small, maybe I didn't heat it up enough because my fingers were hurting, but anyhow, that I'm going to declare that a bit of a failure on this one, so no plastic canopy for this one, at least as of now, until I figure out how to do it in a better way. It's a pity also for the material. So then the plan B, what I'm going to do, I'm going to try to take this off, of course, and I'm going to try to put it directly, make a wooden canopy, try to empty it out to have as much, as least, let's say, reduce the weight as possible, and try to fit it on directly as if it were like directly a wooden piece, and then I'll paint it over black. It won't look so good as the other one, but hopefully it will be acceptable. So a bit of a failure there, but then for the rest, landing gear is kind of there. Still have to finish it off a little bit, but it's kind of there. I don't mind that it's a bit loose, as you can see, because probably with a tissue, and it's relatively simple to stuff in something that it'll sit in there even better, so that's no big problem with that. And then the next step is going to be to build in the rubber motor. Now it's a bit glued together because I was painting it with water and glue, so hopefully I can get that unstuck. It'll be to build in the rubber motor, again using the instructions from Max Fly Art. So I've got some rods that I'm going to put in the back for the peg, and then some rubber, and I also make the hook for the propeller. I'm going to go probably for the plastic propeller, but I've got also a wooden propeller that I was making at in another project, so we'll see. But that'll be then the next chapter. So thank you everybody for following along on this challenging part of the build, at least challenging for me, so that means learning, which is good. And I'll see you next time on the next chapter.